The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Thursday, March 7th, and today is, that's right, Rico, it's National FlapJack Day. It's also, it's also National Hospitalist Day for all the hospital workers out there. I thought that was an interesting word to call them that.
Hospitalists? Are we talking about hospitality or are we talking about hospitals?
Hospitals. We're talking about hospitals, people that wear smocks and shit. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they called them Hospitalist Day. I guess they're trying to include nurses and all the whole staff or whatever that works at hospitals, yes. But nonetheless. Okay. It's also National Crown Roast of Pork Day, you guys. I guess that's a perfect day for the State of the Union. It's also National Cereal Day, because every stoner loves a good bowl of cereal, and National Be Heard Day. So I guess the left is not going to try to silence us today. And it's also National Slam the Scam Day, you guys, for all those scammer phone calls that you guys get on your phones every day. I know I get a ton of them. Well, thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look down below on your screen to see exactly where we live on the internet, and we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. But without further ado, we are kicking it off today with the dope dad himself, Mr. Happy Cabbage, and we can see him today. Look at that. Look at that. It's the dope dad. He's not doing the Cabbage Patch yet, but just wait until he gets on his sales calls. That's right, it is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Oh yeah, Jason. Oh man, look, turn my shit around. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I don't have a big hole in my head right there.
Oh boy, I'm not even gonna touch that one.
So today we're gonna go out across the pond to the legendary Amsterdam. Right. So where the Netherlands Times reported today that the Dutch Parliament will be allowing its cultivation pilot to continue with or without Amsterdam. In this case, without Amsterdam, unfortunately. So members of Parliament struck down a proposal to bring an early end to Dutch government's pilot project to, expanding legality in cannabis. The experiment has not only just gotten underway, but it's meant to eventually lead to stricter regulation and monitoring of coffee shops and cannabis suppliers. At the same time, majority in Tweede Kamer, the lower house of Parliament, also shot down a measure that would be allowing the experiment to expand from 10 to 11 municipalities, Dutch municipalities, so that the Amsterdam Oost district in the capital could participate. So Amsterdam's out. And the capital is out, but they're still going forward. I don't know who they're going to have left, but I don't know anything else that is in that area other than Amsterdam. But the motion is either to permanently stop the experiment, temporarily halt it, and as it was put forward by the Diederik van Dijk, I have no idea how to pronounce these names, so I apologize to all my Dutch people out there. But the MP from the far-right Christian party, SGP, had the backing of his own party and far-right nationalist PVV, the largest party in the Tweedkamer, following the November elections. The measure is to put a permanent end to the project lost by a vote of 110 to 40. The party's DINK, Christian Uni, and CDA joined the SGP and PVV in the failed attempt to temporarily stop the experiment, which ended in a vote of 99 to 51 on Tuesday afternoon. Under the Netherlands' current tolerance policy, coffee shops are allowed to sell cannabis to customers, but cultivating the soft drug is prohibited. Additionally, it's not allowed to supply larger quantities of the drug, nor is it permitted legally to maintain the necessary amount to provide individual customers during working hours. So basically, they're allowed to sell it to you like they have been over the last years in coffee shops, but transporting it has been illegal. They're trying to remedy that, and all the measures going forward will not have anything to do with Amsterdam. I don't know what's going to happen in Amsterdam, how that will evolve into something new, something fresh, but gonna have to find somewhere else to get your weed and to procure your weed, and also to enjoy that openly out there in the country. So the closed coffee shop supply chain experiment finally started in December 2023 after a decade of political debates and many delays, with the project meant to last for more than 5 years. But during a debate last week on whether to allow the Amsterdam Oost district to participate in the trial, quickly became clear that the Tweedkamer was not at all enthusiastic about the experiment. PVV, now the largest party in parliament, called the trial experimenting with our children. Wonder where they got that from. Experimenting with our children, and proposed stopping it completely, or at least pausing it until a new coalition is in office. Christian parties, Christian Uni, SGP, and CDA also have reservations about continuing the experiment, let alone expanding it. Project began with Breda and Tilburg coffee shops supplied by 2 permitted growers that will expand to Arnhem, Almere, Groningen, and there's a bunch of these others. I'm not going to keep on butchering these, but there's 4 other districts that are going to allow cannabis there under these proposed rules. Eventually, Amsterdam Oost presented itself as a possible additional participant, but they were blocked. So it looks like the conservative movement is not only blocking everything in the cannabis arena here in America, but it's also over in Amsterdam. It's very peculiar that they're using language that we're seeing over here too. The whole "save the children" bullshit that we listen to, that we hear from our conservative lawmakers over here. They're using it overseas too. So my question to everybody is, if Amsterdam falls, and Amsterdam, the Dutch are going forward with cannabis and their new rules, but Amsterdam is not involved. Are we done with coffee shops? Is the whole district going to just crash? My question to you guys. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street. A little international news flair for us this morning by courtesy of Jason Beck. And I'd like to hear from you, the rest of you guys. I 9 News, cannabis industry's #1 daily news show.
I mean, it sounds to me like Amsterdam just keeps on doing everything in its power to stop the cannabis trade that has been happening there for years. First, they started getting rid of all their growers, started prosecuting all their growers, so all the growers moved out to Spain, and now Spain is the new hotbed in Europe for cannabis, and now Amsterdam's taken even, I feel like is going to be taking even more of a backseat to Spain and other European countries.
I never got to experience the coffee shops. I wish I did.
We can go. I got people out there. Even if you can't get in, I'll get you in.
Dope. I'm down. I'm with it.
Yeah.
This is sad, man. This is like it's a changing of the guard. Obviously, is nothing consistent in this life except for change. But this is major.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if Amsterdam isn't going to be moving forward with any kind of cannabis legalization, and they're talking about saving the children, they're talking about portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
Has been an eyesore, but it's been an embarrassment to the rest of their country. Like, it's messed up, man.
Mm-hmm.
You should stop consulting with Kevin Savett. Tell him to, don't answer his phone calls anymore. Fuck him. And the playbook is all over the world. It's not just here in the United States. The propaganda to turn people against weed is over a century old, and people all over the world have, taken it in hook, line, and sinker, and it comes back. I mean, this is a movement from the church ladies that we don't want this for our children and stuff like that. Well, I've been to Amsterdam, and I was curious to walk around, went to a bunch of coffee shops, went to the red light district. I thought that was comical, just a recognition that people are there. They're going to throw down some money to FlapJack, and what are you going to do? Okay, accept it or waste money trying to enforce it, and that's the problem they have, is that the trap's going to eventually win. If you try to do this, you squeeze one place, it's going to come out someplace else. And people go to Amsterdam to buy weed. If it's not there legally, they'll buy it illegally. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to waste your resources chasing this like we do in America. It ain't the biggest deal in the block to try and deal with crime. Mm-hmm. Not crime in the first.
I think that we often say the trap wins, and it does to some degree, but we do understand that the reason why they put in these regulations is so they can imprison people too for simple marijuana possession and simple marijuana offenses. I think the worst thing about all of this is that, and shout out to Rico because I don't think for everyone watching, especially for my followers that watch, I don't think that Rico really cares either to what side, but he just wants to point out that there are butthurt ass so-called conservatives or people who, I don't know why it is what it is, but people who are supposed to be conservative that seem to use the argument of saving the children. But there will be a child that's gonna die today. Sorry to say this, but there's gonna be a kid is gonna die today because someone's gonna get in a car and they're gonna be under the influence of alcohol and not Louis XIII or a regular beer, a few cases of it right from the gas station, and they're gonna get in the car and they're gonna drive and they're gonna cause a fatality. Someone's mother, someone's father, someone's kid, someone's gonna get hurt. And they don't have these same kind of feelings about having liquor so readily available at every damn gas station that you go to, but they always seem to talk about marijuana. I have never in my life heard someone get into a car high off some good Cali weed and they caused numerous accidents, or you just don't even hear it every single year. Someone's high on marijuana and they caused a fatality in an auto crash. I just don't hear shit like that, but I hear every single day someone is drinking and driving and someone gets hurt because of it.
Mm-hmm. Good points.
Mm-hmm. Well. What were you going to say, Rachelle?
I just don't know how much is going to change. That's what I'd like to know. I mean, since these pilot programs are relatively new, I mean, people have been getting weed in coffee shops for many, many, many years. So I'm just curious, even if nothing on the books is moving forward, it's like I feel like people are still going to get their weed either way. And also, it's Groningen. Not Groningen. You're welcome. I was an au pair in the Netherlands, picked up a little Dutch, so
Oh, okay.
American.
You know what I find interesting about the Dutch culture? The parents, when they yell at their kids, they make little noises like that, to get their kids' attention, as opposed to yelling at them. You'd be like, "Get your little badass over here!" Here in America, you know what I mean?
My head, my mom got my
the wooden clogs.
Yeah, bro. They make little clickety clackety noises with their mouth.
Yeah. Well, that was the sound my head made when my mom got my attention by slapping me upside.
Oh, that would be a similar sound, Dale. That would be a similar sound.
Click, click, clack. Listen, you little shit. You ain't gonna live through this if you don't shut up.
Yeah.
I know that sound very well.
Oh man, that was good. That was good. We're gonna roll right into a commercial, and we're gonna be right back.
Oh man, that was weird. Hey, you America. Do I look like Sean Connery? Good morning, America. Saman Razani coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, California with the one and only highest host, Mr. Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast? You can find it on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. No excuses in 2024. If you haven't checked us out, check it out now. And also, check out what the Prophet's doing in 2024.
Up next, he's known globally for smoking the best weed wherever he goes, and he's also the highest Republican in every room that he enters. This morning, he's going to break us off with a little thirsty Thursday heat for all you dehydrated motherfuckers out there.
Oh,
come to the stage, no other than Jason Beck. What do you have?
Oh yeah, good morning, Rico. Happy Thursday, you guys. Man, I'll tell you what, Florida legislators were pretty busy over yesterday on Hump Day, you guys, because there was a Florida bill banning delta-8 and many hemp products ready for Governor Meatball Ron DeSantis' signature, you guys. That's right. A bill that could dramatically reshape Florida's hemp market is ready for Governor Ron DeSantis' signature, in spite of warnings from business owners that it could ruin Florida's marketplace and could potentially affect products with no psychoactive effect. Business owners warn that legislation will effectively dismantle the hemp industry, causing thousands of Floridians to lose their jobs. Consumers have pleaded with lawmakers about the positive effects of hemp has had on their mental and physical health. But bill sponsor Representative Tommy Gregory, Republican from Lakewood Ranch, dismissed many of those cries, saying that hemp products are intoxicating and are being sold, in quotes, because there's a lot of money in selling people drugs, he says. The Senate bill passed unanimously, but the House was far more split. It passed that chamber in a 64-48 vote, with 14 Republicans voting against it. The bill, SB 1698, would ban delta-8 products like gummies, tinctures, and vapes, but may also affect other products like CBD extracts because of some banned natural cannabinoids or compounds that appear in hemp extract. The most well-known cannabinoid is delta-9 THC, which creates a high sensation in large quantities. But the bill would ban other compounds like delta-8, delta-10, THCV, and THCP from being included in hemp extracts. Some cannabinoids the bill bans from hemp extract exist in low levels in some CBD products people use to manage health conditions, including some of the oils from Charlotte's Web, founded by a woman whose daughter had epilepsy and used CBD to ease her seizures. Tracy Thaxton Berg has been using hemp oil to manage her daughter Riley's epilepsy. With the use of oils, Riley has been seizure-free for nearly 8 years, Thaxton Berg said. Riley, who has a severe autism and is nonverbal, used to have multiple seizures a day. Thaxton Berg, who lives in the Florida Panhandle, said doctors initially recommended a pharmaceutical to manage Riley's seizures, but she and her husband worried about the drug's behavioral side effects. With hemp oil she takes morning and night, Riley has had no side effects and is no longer at risk of falling and injuring herself, Thaxton Berg said. She's scared of giving her daughter something new without knowing the effects it could have. In quotes, the fact that we're facing the possibility of being able to have that here, we're scared, Thaxton Berg said. We won't have any other choice but to move. Representative Joel Rudman, Republican from Navarre, a physician, said in debate the state should not be encouraging self-medication. He also said he should not send his sibling who is epileptic to a smoke shop to treat that condition. In quotes, we encourage all patients to use the system in place, Rudman said. Florida's hemp businesses came into effect after the federal 2018 Farm Bill, which legalized hemp. Since then, it has swelled to employ more than 100,000 Floridians and rack up sales of more than $10 billion in 2022, according to a study commissioned by a hemp trade group. Gregory on Tuesday told lawmakers that they had been duped into signing off on a hemp market they thought would be largely used for industrial purposes like making textiles. Instead, Gregory said, they're using hemp products to make intoxicating substances. Delta-8 can have a psychoactive effect, but is typically less potent than Delta-9 and occurs in smaller quantities. They're through a chemical process, though other cannabinoids can be converted into delta-8, creating the final product legal for sale with a stronger and more potent psychoactive effect. J.J. Combs, who operates the hemp businesses based out of Fort Lauderdale, including a hemp extraction lab, said if it becomes law, he will likely be left with no choice but to move his business to another state. Combs said he and just over 150 full-time employees working for him, he said under the bill, it would put his business out of risk, and even if if a small bit of those banned cannabinoids are in his products, it would be illegal, Combs said. He also said he wants the industry to be regulated and takes issue with superdose products, but that the legislation shuts down the industry instead of working with it. In quotes, the bill hands over our industry to the black market, to dispensaries, and to out-of-state manufacturers that are still shipping into the state of Florida, Combs said. Gregory said business owners may be impacted where crafty enough to see the loophole and will be crafty enough to do something else. He said the business owners should have suspected that the legislature would one day crack down, but noticed that they can still sell delta-9 THC with the proposed caps. The bill would cap hemp products to 5 milligrams of delta-9 THC per serving or over 50 milligrams per container, and Gregory said that the change was a compromise and that ideally he would like to see 0 milligrams. Several Democrats in the House said the bill would dismantle one industry in favor of giving its business to another, the medical marijuana industry. And adult use marijuana is a possibility for Floridians next year. The Florida Supreme Court is reviewing an amendment language that would allow adults over 21 to use marijuana without criminal penalties. And if that language passes, the adult use products would be sold at Florida's existing legal medical marijuana centers. In quotes, if this product is so bad, we want to ban it, then ban it, Representative Hillary Castle, Democrat from Diana Beach, said. But that's not what we're doing today. We're choosing which doors you can buy it from. Well, Florida's got some lobbying to do over there, those little Floridian shops, and it sounds like they're going to all get screwed in the end, because I'm pretty sure Governor DeSantis will ultimately sign this bill. But nonetheless, I can't wait to hear what y'all have to say about this. And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News. What do y'all got to say?
Man, just as a person, I feel bad for these people, but at the same side, it's like you never should have banked all of your shit into this loophole. Like, you shouldn't have created a business around this loophole, because you should have known the bottom was going to come out at some point. Mm-hmm. If your state is now legal, there's no reason for these synthetic cannabinoids to be available. In my personal opinion, it all should be regulated. I don't see how they're going to change something that's going to affect, like the woman who was talking about her kid who's been taking CBD. I mean, that's just bad common sense. If they change if anything in that bill changes their ability to get their medicine, I think is ridiculous. But on the flip side, I think she can also find her medicine through the medical cannabis market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is an example of what happens when you let legislatures reactively try to legislate. It's like they're handed the blueprints to build a horse, and they end up building a fucking giraffe. Okay? They don't want to talk about having a long-term plan to bring people into the market legally, okay, and fight the black market by making the white market, or whatever term you want to use, profitable and up and running. Mm. The other thing I saw in this is that this doctor, this son of a bitch, I mean, if you listen to them, they want every part of medicine to go through them and their pharmaceuticals they want to, give to you. And if you go back to 100 or more years ago, before they had all these medical schools being told what to teach and things like that, there was naturopathic medicine. People used these natural products to treat a myriad of conditions. And the Rockefellers and some other just put them out of business. Well, now people go, hang on for a second. If I'm depressed, I want to microdose mushrooms. Mm-hmm. If I'm not having an appetite, I want to smoke some weed. Or if, seizure disorders, I don't want to go to the doctor because their medicine's killing my kid, whatever. And the doctor is, we want it all to go through us. Mm-hmm. We want you to use all of our medicines. And I'm telling you right now, there is no goddamn way any doctor is going to recommend you go smoke something as a medicine.
That's true.
For people think that rescheduling to 3 is going to be okay, take a look at what the medical community say. It's our monopoly, goddamn it. Don't challenge it, or we're going to fight you.
Well, Dale. It's just like that comment from the doctor in the article saying, I don't think that people should be going to smoke shops to buy their medicine, regardless.
Well, there it is. That's the stuff that they say quietly. Now they're saying it out loud.
Yep.
Okay. They want control of this.
Yep.
And if you think that anybody, black, white, green, male, female, that's coming through social equity is going to get a chance to compete with a pharmaceutical company, you are smoking crack. I'm telling you right now, it ain't going to happen, because this is the window into what they're thinking.
Shout out to smoking crack.
This is bigger than Nino Brown.
Yes,
because,
it is.
Uncle Dale said something. I don't know if it went over people's heads. Look, not only do the pharmaceutical companies want. Not only do they want control, but see, the thing is, he said Rockefeller. They made it where it's illegal for you to even think you can cure something or treat something outside of what it is they have control over. Now, you look at all of the drugs that people are talking about now. People aren't rapping about weed and being high off some super strain that was produced by Jason Beck, or no, they're not. They're talking about designer drugs that are pharmaceutically made by pharmaceutical companies. And the thing about this is the trap doesn't necessarily win here, because we all know how Florida gives it up. They're going to be arresting people, and people are going to be going to jail for possession and having other things on them that they shouldn't have. This is just another way for people to be fined, arrested, and actually controlled. I don't like Ron DeSantis. I don't know him personally as a person, but as far as policy is concerned, I think he did some great things for Florida. But I also think that if he signs this, someone said that it should be regulated. I honestly feel like we should get to a point where you start trusting adults and allowing adults to decide what's best for them. They already have legislation up where they're saying that they want to assist people in suicide and everything else. Why can't someone go into a location that has some bomb boom bay, purchase an eighth from the person, leave out of there, roll it up, smoke away some of their problems, just if it's just for a moment? Why can't they do that? But they can go get some Oxycontin and go pop a Molly or go. It's ridiculous. But ultimately, it will be because they want to get money and arrest people.
Yeah, no, Brian.
I think Florida and their Surgeon General need to focus on that looming epidemic that they have on their hands with the measles outbreak. They need to be focused on that. If they want to talk about anything in the healthcare arena and the wellness arena, they need to be focused on that and not stomping out cannabis.
Well,
thank you.
I think this was right. I think this was predictable. Ron DeSantis. I'm not a fan of anything when it comes to Ron DeSantis except for his boots.
Oh boy,
right? He's got fantastic boots.
Well, it's
the
funny.
White boots, or whether it's the cowboy boots with the lift in them. The man knows his boots. But other than that, I think his policies they've been very polarizing for the state of Florida on a micro level, as we're seeing in the rest of the nation. And the people that he's been putting in power and the things that he's done behind the scenes have put Florida, it pushed them back decades.
I can't.
Period.
Rico,
I don't know, Rico. I can't agree with that, because Florida is the first, even before Texas, to hold the pharmaceuticals companies accountable for giving people poison. So I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Well,
it's up in the air. You can't get everything you want.
Well, hold on a second, Rico.
General that is making the measles vaccine optional, and you're seeing the kids are going to die from this. You can talk about saving the children.
Rico,
children are going to die from this.
Rico, I don't understand why you are giving Ron DeSantis credits for his boots. It is National Women's Month, and you know that it's his wife that's responsible for those boots, first of all.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
It's National Women's Month. You should not be silencing, not giving the wife credit like that. But also too,
the FEMA white boots. Or are we talking about the cowboy boots with the extra lift in them joints?
Oh,
which ones are we talking about?
But Brian Dombrowski or Dombrowski. I love this last name, Dombrowski. He says DeSantis has sold his soul to TrueLeave and now has to protect them.
I disagree. Yeah, I read that in the comments, and I responded to that in the comments, and I disagreed with that. Like, yes, because we covered the story about how TrueLeave is they're kind of behind the rise of Ron DeSantis, and I think that he is hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
That part true.
And Ron DeSantis in his stepping boots came off the campaign. a wounded
He
animal.
called Ron a woman scorned.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
What do you have to say about this, Rachelle? Any thoughts on this?
I just believe that he's gonna pull a Christy Nome. And he's not. He's gonna pull a Christy Nome, and he's gonna stab True Leave in the back, and he's going to just veto their whole initiative to legalize. That is.
Hey, if he does this, I'm giving Rico $20 for calling it. So if he stabs him in the back, I'm sending Rico a dub.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. That's not. What do you think?
Boots. I want the boots.
What do you think about this, Rachelle?
I don't know. Florida is so wild, just in general. I mean,
Florida.
but with the cannabis stuff, it's especially crazy. But what was that thing that I saw the other day? Was it True Leave or Cure Leaf that posted? They changed their menu to say THCA versus THC. I thought that was very interesting.
Oh, you know what too? You know what's funny is the story that we covered earlier in the week in regards with their big tax win. There's a lot of people that are chattering that the reason that they got that is because they're saying that money was from THCA sales as opposed to actual medical sales. And so I'm pretty sure there's going to be some upcoming controversy in regards to that going forward too. But time will tell, and we shall see. And oh man, this shit is just cooking and simmering along. And speaking of simmering along, we're gonna keep this train rolling. We're gonna roll right into Mr. Dale Schafer. He's an attorney at law and the founder of Armada Law Practice, and at one point in time did some time for a cannabis crime. That's right, it is none other than Mr. Dale Schafer.
Good morning, everybody. And on the East Coast, good afternoon. I still got a spork around here somewhere, but I've eaten it.
Oh, yeah. You having a spread for breakfast, huh, Dale?
Yeah. Swapping for sweets for some legal advice. Okay, today's story comes out of Washington, and this is a cautionary tale, another one that I'm trying to bring to people. If you're in the industry or want to get in the industry, this is just a disaster. As we say in the industry, this is a clusterfuck from every direction. This involves the Washington State Court of Appeals, and the plaintiff is Application Software Products Incorporated, and the defendant is the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board. And every state that authorizes cannabis has something like this. The acronyms or whatever they're going to, in California, you call it DCC, Department of Cannabis Control. It's the agency that oversees licensing cannabis. Now, every statute I'm aware of in any state authorizes this requires that you have a location. Either you own the real estate or you lease it, and the landlord gives permission for you to have a cannabis business there. Shouldn't be surprised about that. Gives the landlord a lot of leverage over you, but the state won't give you a license until the landlord says, okay, cool. They're in here, they got my permission to do a cannabis business, and the state authorizes the facility and stuff like that. It's sort of the cornerstone here. You can't be running a trap shop and expecting to have a license. It doesn't work that way. So the plaintiffs here signed a lease back in 2018, and if I'm reading the tea leaves here, they got behind on the rent, which is pretty common in the industry. These rents can be onerous, and you don't have the cash flow to pay it. So they got behind, and apparently the owner of the property, the landlord, got behind in their payments, and so the mortgage company looks like it stepped in, and they claim the deed back to the mortgage company, get out of a foreclosure. Okay. A long way to get around to, the property was lost because payments weren't being made. The new company stepped in and said, hey, the plaintiff, you're behind. You haven't paid 6 months worth of rent here. We're going to go into court and we're going to file an action to kick you out. We want damages from this. We want you to get out of here. Now, anybody who owns a cannabis business where that facility is now in jeopardy of having your lease ripped up from underneath you, you better be paying careful attention, because you lose that lease, you lose that property, you lose your license. Okay, and that's what happened here. So the company that got the property went into court. The court granted them not only damages, $160,000 worth of damages, but they gave them a writ of possession. You get the property back now. Now, from the time that this company got the bad news that, hey, you're done, you're getting kicked out of here, until they asked the state, hey, can we change the location of our license now? The state got wind of the fact that they had been evicted. And without that property, you don't have a right to the license. Okay, so the state of Washington said we're gonna stop any change of location because your license was gone when you lost your underlying lease. You can't have a free-floating license without a place for it to be. That's a cautionary tale for the industry. And what happened is these guys never appealed losing their lease. Okay, but when the state stepped in and said, "Hey, we're going to not allow you to change locations because your license was lost and you can't change locations in the license that's gone," they started appealing this. Now, if you don't understand that you lose your lease, you could lose your license. Let me tell you, tattoo it on the forehead of your CEO. Don't fuck around with this stuff because now you're going to be gone. You got no defense. Mm-hmm. And they tried to go into the administrative procedures here and try to argue that, well, they shouldn't have taken our lease away in the first place. And in administrative procedures, this is where people don't always understand how this works. There's civil courts, there's criminal courts, and then in every state, there are administrative courts. And every state has an Administrative Practices Act, and all of these licenses are issued and suspended and revoked under administrative practices. I've tried cases for juries, judges, arbitrators, and a lot in front of administrative law judges. And they can only decide certain things. They can't challenge some other court's order. That's not something they can do. And the plaintiff here was trying to bring up, hey, they shouldn't have taken my lease away. It was improper. And it's like, dude, I can't decide that. A court gave you a chance to have a hearing. You got your ass kicked. You never appealed it. You can't come in here to court and appeal this in an administrative proceeding and have us expect to overturn this. It doesn't work that way. What the appeals court said is that what was before the administrative law judge that heard this is a court had decided you no longer have a facility where you can have a cannabis license. Period. End of discussion. That is what we call res judicata. We're not going to litigate that again. And collaterally, you're stopped from attacking it. You can't do it. Well, these people just kept pissing and moaning. They should have never taken this away. Well, yeah, you shouldn't have waited 9 months basically with your thumb up your ass and not appeal this and then run into court and think, well, some administrative law judge is going to save me and, oh, it's not fair what they're doing. No. Administrative courts are not courts that can do equity. They can't split the baby in half to make a black and white decision, if you will. You lost your lease. You can't have a cannabis business anymore. Boo-hoo, here's a box of Kleenex. Get the fuck out of here, okay? That's the cautionary tale I want everyone to pay attention to. First of all, don't lose your lease. It's critical to have a license, okay? And if you go to administrative law proceedings, people who run these businesses, and you better have attorneys helping you to understand what can you actually accomplish in these proceedings. And if you want to argue something later in front of a court, you damn sure better bring it up to the administrative law hearing, have it in the record that I was arguing this, to have any sort of capability to argue this when you get to the real court, where the real court can do equitable shit for you. Okay. Now this gets a little geeky, but for attorneys, yeah, you could get caught in a malpractice trap here real easy. But for companies, okay, your CEO might be able to be sued for malpractice, and this is why you have errors and omissions insurance for the officer and directors, because somebody slept on their rights here and then tried to argue, well, it wasn't fair. Yeah, you got to come in with clean hands, and your hands here are covered with shit because you waited. You didn't ever appeal this, and you waited too damn long to bring it up. I'll throw it back at you. We'll follow these things as they come up occasionally, but what do you guys think about this?
Dale, I feel like these people, their parents never told them, sometimes just life isn't fair.
Yeah. I tell all my kids and grandkids, gravity works every time. Listen, you dumbass, if you're 20 feet in a tree and let go, you're going to fall down. Yeah. Gravity works. Some of the stuff is as sure as shit, and gravity works, okay? Don't be stupid.
Agreed. Yeah, if you lose your license, it's pretty obvious. If you lose your lease, it's pretty. You know what I mean? That's pretty well common, unless you have the ability to have a quick pivot and move in a sufficient enough time before you lose.
The cautionary tale is here, Jason. This is an unpublished opinion. No attorney can cite it, but all the reasoning is right there. Like as soon as it looks like you're going to lose your lease, you better let the state know, hey, I'm going to find a place quickly. I want to do a change of location.
Exactly.
It's in the works before you lose your lease, and now you have some grounds to stand on.
And you know what every judge and every prosecutor I've heard ever say is that ignorance is not an excuse against the law.
No. Well, it doesn't work. It's not a defense, okay? And as soon as they publish a rule or regulation, you are presumed to understand it.
Yep.
If you're in this industry, these goddamn rules and regulations are complicated, okay? And for people used to open their trunk and start slinging weed, now it's not that simple anymore. You got to have employees. You got to tell people no. You got a board of directors. You got to have loans. You got payments to make and all that shit that wraps you into being a business. And yeah, there are some obligations to keep it running. And when you screw the pooch like that, I mean, if I'm a shareholder in this company, I'm thinking, all right, I lost my ass here. How did this happen? And how did the people running this company really screw me? Because there's, you have obligations. And if you screw them up, that's negligence. You can be sued for stuff like this.
Agreed. And you guys have any thoughts on this losing leases? Man, I mean, if you lose your lease at your house, you're going to be homeless. Why wouldn't people understand this from the business?
Your Hulk hair.
There you go,
California just what?
I have those discussions with my clients where it's going to be bad or bring along a box of Kleenex. It's like, dude, this is like the doctor telling you got cancer. We got to cut your arm off. Sit down. Take the Kleenex because we got some real bad shit to talk about.
Maybe we could call the Krylicopter in for them to come get rescued.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, man. We're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
The control tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The control tower from Highly Educated.
Oh, yeah. Stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you hit that like button. I know we'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. And YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.highat9news.com. Also, this next upcoming week, we are planning on being at Hall of Flowers. Thursday for sure. I'm working out the logistics for Wednesday and whatnot, but I think we are going to attempt to do a live broadcast from Hall of Flowers on next Thursday. So we look forward to seeing everybody there that's in and around and can get in. We'll see you soon.
I'm Jason Beck, and this is Smoky Vanilla. And if you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to get yourself a stretch and smoke with Smoky Vanilla.
That's right, baby. I'm Smoky Vanilla with my background in kinesiology. I'm a sports massage therapist and stretch coach. I focus mostly on athletes who have chronic pain or injury due to their sport, or the legends of the chronic in the game, baby.
Oh, yeah, you know what it is? We just stretched, and now we're gonna smoke, because you know what it is.
That's right. I love intuitively creating a session based on the individual I'm working with. We'll go through a few assessments, look at the past health history, injury, or anything that's still affecting you today, and create a customized session just for you. Let's go. Yay!
This newly engaged cannabis and psychedelics reporter and editor at Green State has the most illustrious collection of Legos in the damn game. The real question is, will she be able to rebuild society with her Lego collection? Coming to the stage, y'all know who it is. Rachelle Gorgon. What do you have for us today on this beautiful day?
Hold on 1 second, Rico. You know, also too, yesterday was Rachelle's birthday. So we want to wish you a very, very happy belated birthday.
Happy
Rachelle.
birthday,
Yes.
sis. Happy birthday.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Good day.
Never been kissed, right?
That was a great nervous laugh.
Anyways, so here's my question for the week. This is a question that came from my colleague Kara Wheatstock at Green State. Why don't people get high the first time they smoke weed? I know a lot of people do, a lot of people don't. So is there some science behind it? Let's find out. Kara writes, a tale of a friend who has never smoked, not feeling anything after pulling out a joint, has been passed around stoner circles for generations. This is an urban hot legend that is often told. Why don't people get high the first time they smoke weed? Honestly, most people do. But for those that keep this tale alive, Green State consulted with our resident cannabis expert, Dr. Lee Vencor, who said, I think how they react related to intoxication is variable, and even though it might be simpler when inhaled compared to ingested, they're still personalized and individualized, Dr. Vencor said. One surefire way to bypass intoxication is to take a note from Bill Clinton and not inhale. A nervous first-timer may not know how to inhale cannabis, holding smoke in their mouths rather than pulling it into their lungs. Or they could simply draw too little from the joint or pipe. Once these things are checked off the list, it's possible the reason someone isn't feeling anything is more psychological. Not everyone speaks the same language when it comes to cannabis intoxication. The concept of intoxication may be different for people when it comes to cannabis. When people are intoxicated by alcohol, the effects are shared from one person to the next. This isn't reproducible with weed. The act of being high is sometimes called getting stoned, what that looks like differs around the circle. This might be why some don't perceive their first experience as being high when they might actually be high. Well, perhaps those people would not call themselves high or intoxicated because they're just nervous, anxious, Dr. Vencor posed. I would say the majority of people that even try inhaling it the first time, they're sitting around, they're giggling, and maybe they're not associating that with being intoxicated, but they probably are. A sensitization period has sometimes been blamed for the phenomenon of people not getting high on their first puff. The theory implies that unused cannabinoid receptors need a few doses of THC to liven them up before cannabinoids can produce a high feeling. However, no evidence or research actually supports this claim. There's no concrete reason why some people don't get high the first time they smoke. But at the end of the day, each endocannabinoid system has unique surpluses and deficiencies of cannabinoids like THC and CBD, which is why many call the weed experience highly personal. No pun intended. How a strain impacts each person plays into very individualized biology. Just as therapeutic effects are personalized, the intoxicating ones are too. This may be why some people don't feel high the first time. They might not just have the vocabulary to understand what they're experiencing. Quote, we're all individuals when it comes to cannabis, Dr. Vencor concluded. So, I ask you guys, did you get high the first time you smoked weed? For me personally, I smoked twice in one evening. The first time I didn't feel or notice anything. The second time I definitely did. I went home and I ate an entire cookie cake, you know, those big decorated cake, cookies that you get for special occasions. I ate the whole thing, had a beautiful night. But I wonder, what about you guys?
I agree a lot with what Dr. Vencor said about, you know, maybe just not associating what you're feeling with intoxication. We got my very straight 72-year-old mother-in-law blunted a few Thanksgivings ago. After we ate, we took her out. We were out on the porch, and my wife was like, "Hey, do you want to go join them?" And she's like, "Oh, sure." She was open to it, and she came out and she smoked, and we were sitting on the couch later, and was like, "Nancy, do you feel anything?" She was like, "No, I don't feel a thing." And then I swear it was less than a minute. I looked over at her, and she was just out. So definitely was intoxicated.
Well, so hold on. I think I have an idea as to why these people are saying that they don't feel intoxicated. And I do agree that some people, like what you pointed out, Stone, that some people don't know exactly what they are feeling because they're not familiar with it. And so it's because it's something new, they don't recognize it right away. But if I'm not correct that this is a Canadian study. Am I correct on that, Rachelle?
Here we go. Here we go.
That's why they didn't get high. That's why they didn't get high, because it was all that Canadian weed that they were smoking up there. That's exactly why this study is coming out like that. Just saying.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
For sure.
And I worked in medicine for a dozen years. Okay, and I don't know. I had 40,000 patient encounters, and when you meet that many people that are in the middle of some condition where you're trying to get their perception, you understand that people perceive every condition differently. It goes into your head. And when it's alcohol, you grow up understanding, you take a hit of alcohol, you can't, you're hard to walk. There's things that you perceive. People associate that quickly with alcohol. The perception with weed is different. And this goes into what they call the placebo effect. If someone's expecting something or has no frame of reference, they really don't know how to interpret it until they get a frame of reference and a metric to compare it to. The first time I got high, we broke shit off of a brick, and you had to clean all the stems and seeds out, and it might have been 4% on a good day. You can smoke the whole damn, joint, and you're going, oh, did I really get high? You take a couple of hits off a vape pen today, you're going to know right then, man, I just fucking passed out. Hey, did you get high the first time? I don't know, but I was laying in the hallway unconscious, okay? Or unresponsive is a term they used in yesterday's story. It's a lot of it has to do with our perceptions and our brains. We don't understand it yet. But yeah, I got pretty fucked up the first time I got high because I was eating shit and going, oh man, this tastes really good.
Mm-hmm.
You look pretty cute. No, that music sounds great. I was high.
Yeah.
But it was badass. It was worse than Canadian weed in those days.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, man. We had some pretty bad shit down in Virginia. Yeah.
What'd you smoke for the first time, Rico? How'd you smoke it?
It was a 7-Up 2-liter bottle, and it was a makeshift bong.
It was a makeshift gravity bong?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. And what kind of weed was it? Brown weed? Sticks and stems and seeds? The lumberyard?
Yeah, pretty much. Virginia dirt.
Was it brown, color brown, or was it green?
It was a brownish tint to that shit.
Brownish
I do remember
tinge.
that.
Okay.
And so I do remember that. It was my homeboy Chris. Shout out to my boy Chris Bellamy back down in VA. And it was sorry y'all. I was 12 years old, and we stole his dad's Caprice. His dad was passed out drunk on the couch. We stole his Caprice, Chevy Caprice, and took that shit to the general store and got some munchies.
Damn. Damn.
We were high as fuck. Yeah, like I said in the comments, like I don't know if it was the actual weed, that terrible weed, or if it was the burning plastic, PFAs, like all of it.
It could have been all that paraquat too, Rico. It could have been that paraquat.
It could have been. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, but I was high as hell, and that was my first experience. I'll never forget that. And that's when I stopped smoking cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another story for another day. But I was chain smoking cigarettes before I started smoking weed, and weed got me off of cigarettes when I was in middle school. So
interesting. What about you, Stone?
First time I smoked was some really good, really sticky skunk that I stole from my dad, like the skunk that I hadn't seen in forever. And we got really, really stoned. Me and some of the kids from the neighborhood were like, it was one that I've told you, like the kids are like, oh, this is the shit. And I was like, I know what that shit is and I know where to get it. Hold on. I went and got it. And it was.
Steal it, or did he give it to you?
Yeah. Well, did what?
Did you steal it from him, or did he give it to you?
I stole the shit out of it. It wasn't until sometime in high school my dad finally was like, hey, if you have your own bag of weed, would you notice if somebody was taking something out of it? I was like, I know where this is going. He's like, stop stealing my weed.
How about you, Rachelle? Your first time, what were you smoking, and what was it?
It was the Downtown Brown, all the way out of one of those metal pipes with like kind of the psychedelic.
Oh, like the proto pipes.
Yep, exactly. And we were at the cemetery. It was a very classic scenario.
Mm-hmm. Dale, you told us yours. Tony, what do you got to say? What was your first time smoking weed?
12th birthday.
12th birthday.
Finesse my mom to give me some money for some goldfish for my fish tank.
Getting it.
Took the $10, met with
bought some Colombian
classmate of mine who we met with an older gentleman who was in his teens, and he went into the neighborhood weed spot who wouldn't serve us because we were young, but they served him and he was a teenager. And we went to a place and we got high, and I just remember laying down on the concrete from the wooden bench, and my friend laid on the wooden bench, and I just remember looking up and being zooted. So much so we stayed there for hours thinking we were there for maybe 20 minutes. And then by the time we went home, I got my ass whipped for being home too late, and my friend's mom never let me play with him again. So we had to hook up after school, get high, and I've been getting high ever since.
That
An American tale.
Yeah, mine was a Bammer weed in a Garcia Vega blunt. That was my first time, and I got lit. And so I'm just gonna throw it out there too. Like all 5 of us, or 6 of us, got high our first time that we smoked weed. So therefore, this study is total bullshit and just proves my point that it's probably because it was Canadian weed that was used for the purposes of this study. But
I concur.
Yeah. Nonetheless, we're gonna go to a commercial. We're gonna be right back. Get ready for the 20-year anniversary celebration of the Emerald Cup. The Emerald Cup will be held at the Henry J. Kaiser Center for the Arts in downtown Oakland, May 4th and 5th. Get your tickets now for best pricing. Cannabis categories include flower, pre-rolls, solventless concentrates, solvent concentrates, cartridges, edibles, topicals, tinctures, and alternative cannabinoids. So enter early for your chance to be a winner at the 20-year anniversary Emerald Cup competition. Oh, yeah, coming up next, it's the man who's been hitting the high road because he's always on search for some actual good flower because he lives in the great red state of Texas. That's right, it is none other than Mr. Hitting the High Road, Mr. Stone Slade.
My Texas brother, let's go.
Thank you, Jason. Wow, that was one of the best intros you've ever given me.
That's because I didn't mention delta-8 for you today, Stone.
Yeah, I was ready for you today. I'll tell you what. I love you, Jason.
You're ready? Yeah, that delta-8 jar right next to you. Ready for it?
No, I just had something ready to say to you this time, buddy. No. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Hi at 9 viewers and listeners. Today, I'm jumping into some groundbreaking development in cannabis research. For years, the entourage effect theory in cannabis has sparked debates in the scientific community. Some call it a myth, while others staunchly defended its validity. Now, a recent study in the journal Molecules might just be turning this point into, just be the turning point into this ongoing saga. The research all but confirms that cannabis isn't just about THC and CBD. Instead, it's the synergy of cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids working together that enhance the plant's therapeutic impact. This holistic effect is far greater than any individual compound could achieve on its own. The report marks a significant step towards unraveling the full potential of cannabis and tailoring treatments based on its comprehensive composition. So what is the entourage effect? Since 1999, this theory has captivated cannabis enthusiasts and researchers alike. It suggests that an array of compounds in cannabis, from aromatic terpenes to anti-inflammatory flavonoids, collaborate to form the plant's therapeutic profile. This research underscores the importance of understanding how these compounds interact with the body, leading to diverse effects across different cannabis strains. And in essence, the entourage effect exists. The study highlights the critical role of cannabinoids and terpenes in this synergy, influencing the various bodily responses, including pain relief, anti-inflammation, reduction, neuroprotection. Sorry, that was supposed to be inflammation reduction. Neuroprotection. It's a discovery that aligns with the notion that cannabis is more than just its individual parts. It's a complex, interconnected system. The implications of confirming the entourage effect are vast. It paves the way for a more nuanced approach to cannabis application and treatment. We can now look at whole plant products and compound-specific medicines in a new light, understanding their distinct therapeutic benefits and potential drawbacks. This knowledge is invaluable for healthcare and wellness professionals recommending specific cannabis products for ailments. Interestingly, researchers have identified over 450 unique combinations of cannabinoids and terpenes known as chemvars. These distinct chemical profiles have shown varying effectiveness in treating chronic pain, depression, and anxiety. The study is just the beginning. There's still a lot to uncover, but it's a critical step in the right direction for the cannabis industry. It highlights the importance of considering the plant's holistic properties rather than focusing solely on individual components like THC levels. This research takes us beyond familiar strain names like Sour Diesel and Granddaddy Purple. It encourages a deeper dive into cannabis classification, focusing on the chemical compositions that matter most for personalized care. The researchers anticipate that this could pave the way for a revolutionary indexing system, categorizes cannabis variants based on their distinct chemical profiles, transforming how we understand and utilize the versatile plant. I firmly believe that any bud tender or dispensary that's pushing products based solely on their THC content is missing the point and should be avoided. We need to shift our focus, obviously, to terpene profiles, which are the real game changers in determining a strain's effect and medicinal value. This latest research underscores the importance of understanding the entire plant and its compounds. So it's not just about the THC levels, it's about the holistic interplay of terpenes. I love that the study is challenging us to rethink how we evaluate and consume cannabis, both for adult use and medicinally. I'm Stone Slade, and thank you for getting high at night with me.
Oh man,
I first met, I got introduced to this concept by Ethan Russo, who's a physician neurologist who's working up in Missoula, Montana, back in like 1999. And he ultimately helped develop these products that are now Sativex and Epidiolex, okay? Because the medical community wants single molecule medicines because they can patent them. But the plant has a full entourage, and the way you deliver it to the body has a major effect on whether you feel any of this entourage. So what GW Pharmaceuticals developed, and that's who Ethan Russo worked with, was we're going to extract without getting rid of the terpenes and the flavonoids. They use extraction methods that don't destroy those, and then they use a tincture you spray under your tongue. So you don't go through the liver the first time, you don't smoke it, but you still get the full flavor of the cannabinoids, the terpenes, and the flavonoids. They're protected, okay? So that's where he's gotten so far. But the pharmaceutical industry doesn't want that. And they made Marinol, which was a synthetic delta-9 THC many years ago. It's worthless as tits on a bull. And we used to give it to people, go, I want to try this, fine. Tell grandma you're trying Marinol, but smoke some weed, okay? It works great for me. And I don't know how we're going to get through to this entourage effect, because medicine does not work that way. They want a single molecule. It's been double-blind studied and all that shit, and we can protect the copyrights and charge what we want for it. And naturopathic medicine is, hey, does it work for you? Let's try to figure out why it's working for you, tailor it for you. And we don't care if some company makes $1 billion off this. We're trying to make you better. And that's the tension that we're going to see here over the entourage effect, because I know it works. Problem is the medical business doesn't want to accept that, and the pharmaceutical industry won't allow it to go forward.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. Very, very true.
I got crying towels for everybody, because this is the reality of medicine today. It just irritates the shit out of me. Doctors don't have the stones to do what needs to be done for their patients. No hint on you, Stone, but they're a bunch of pussies, and I tell them to their face, you guys won't tell anybody to, I'm a doctor, I have a Hippocratic oath to make my patient better, even though I know the shit I'm giving them is going to kill them eventually. You bought hook, line, and sinker the story. You're not interested in your patient's health. You're interested in playing the game and making money. And it makes me sick.
I'm just glad that they use the word entourage effect, because there's a lot of people that try to use other words to describe that. I'm personally a fan of the entourage effect. Entourage
Symphonic,
was a fantastic show. I'm friends with Turtle, so shout out Turtle. And man, the entourage
Joey
effect.
Greco.
Yeah, they're just proving things we know exist.
Right, water is wet. The water's not wet if you're a fish. People are just dry.
Fair.
But you can't climb a tree if you're a fish, though.
Yeah, water's never wet until you get out of it.
But you can swim upstream if you're Salmondale.
Bars.
Oh, you can. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Bringing us home today is the self-proclaimed most feared Black Latin man alive. He's a conservative artist, activist, entrepreneur, and love him or hate him, you gotta respect his knack for calling shit out before it happens. He was the one calling out Puff Daddy before any of these allegations came out. And, here we are now. Come to the stage, my man, Antoine, Tony, Montaga, Tucker.
Thank you very much, man. One of the most greatest introducers ever in the game of podcasting. Rico, my brother, my beloved brother. Thank you. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Somewhere around the world is truly what time it is. And on behalf of me and the rest of my great co-host and our fearless leader, Jason, the man who smokes the greatest weed, we ask that you like, share, and subscribe to our platform. This is a great, diverse group of individuals who do not have all the same beliefs politically, but we believe all together marijuana is extremely important, and you need us to talk about it. So let's get into this topic now. Rockland smoke shops illegally sold cannabis to minors, committed tax fraud. Rockland DA. This story was sent to me by fearless leader Jason Beck, and it is reported by Miss Alexandria Rivera of the Rockland Westchester Journal News. The Rockland County District Attorney's Office said it found several smoke shops in Rockland County committed tax fraud and illegally sold cannabis to minors after a year-long investigation. District Attorney Thomas Walsh said his office, along with the New York Field Office of Homeland Security Investigations and local police departments, issued search warrants on Tuesday at 7 smoke shops after a long-year investigation that originally started to look into businesses running without proper licenses. We started an investigation into allegations of local businesses selling cannabis products without proper licenses, including to minors involved in something larger. HSI New York Acting Special Agent in Charge, Aaron Keegan, said, our investigation found that these individuals fleeced the government of thousands in tax dollars, a scheme that they allegedly tried to disguise. The warrants were executed at 2 stores in Charlestown, 2 stores in Orangetown, and 1 in the village of Suffering. The news release did not specify the names of the businesses. New York State has struggled to get licenses out to prospective dispensaries since it announced recreational legalization in 2021. The state implemented the conditional adult use retail dispensary program in 2022, which gives prospective dispensary owners, especially those who have been affected by incarceration on drug charges, to apply for a license to legally sell recreational cannabis. However, the rollout has been slow. You mean to tell me? According to the New York State Office of Cannabis Management, only 78 stores have official state licenses. Just 5 of those stores are in the lower Hudson Valley. Elevate and Westchester Harvesting Company in Mount Vernon, Buttigieg, New York City, and Etain Health in White Plains, and newly opened Treehouse Cannabis in Nyack. Since the rollout of these official licenses, local law enforcement has cracked down on illegal smoke shops across the state. In May 2023, the Office of Cannabis Management approved a vote to implement emergency regulations that allow law enforcement to seize cannabis products from unlicensed stores. Just recently, Governor Kathy Hochul, horrible creature, Skeletor's wife, calls for stricter punishments for illegal cannabis shops in February, saying they hurt legal businesses. Have something to say about that. Let's give states and localities ways they can padlock the doors. Number 1, shut down these flagrant violators, Hochul said. I think that's all that's said there. But for me personally, you guys, this is the biggest oxymoron ever. If it's recreational, then no one needs to go to the park and have to get permission for it. They knew what they were doing when they did it. They knew what the implications were, and now they're going to go into businesses and they're going to trash businesses, all because they're not expediting licenses, or they're not equipped to actually furnish people licenses that applied for them. So now people who have applied for it could possibly have their stores kicked in and trashed by the unhappy police and the liberals who play the game the same way Republicans do, except liberals will tell you, we give you a little this, then we take it back. Tell me what you guys think in the audience, and let me know what you think. We got to get out of here soon, but thank you for tuning in, and thank you for allowing me to be here.
Did they offer any evidence as to how they caught them? Was it like a sting operation or something like that? Like,
I think it started with taxes, to be honest with you, bro. It didn't say anything, but you have to. They said taxes, so as soon as you heard taxes, you knew it was about the money. Right. It wasn't about the children.
Right. Or I immediately get skeptical of these stories when they say like, "Oh, a years-long investigation found they were selling to minors." Like, yeah, video. Do you have like proof? And the more information on how they found they were selling to minors. Like, I'm like, were they really?
Why are the parents getting locked up? Your kids going to the weed spot. Like, did you tell the parents?
Mm-hmm. Probably not.
Well, the thought that they're still going to criminalize this and put people in jail and take their money away, their property, it's just still beyond the pale. It's weed, for God's sakes. Quit throwing people in jail and taking all their money. And these businesses that get a license, now they turn into rats for the other businesses, just like corporations do. Hey, I want my revenue stream. You're getting involved in interrupting my revenue stream. I want the government to go in and kick their ass because I'm legal or not. Just stop it. Every one of us was doing shit illegally at some point in the weed industry. Let's just be honest here, okay? And at what point do we just leave this alone and stop putting people in jail for it and find some other way to deal with this?
Right. I think it's very interesting how Kathy Hochul, shout out to my story that I think I covered on Monday. Kathy Hochul is claiming to be taking down all these illegal shops. She's going to be more heavy-handed, more involved directly.
You know why?
Eric Adams in New York City says that he's going to continue his hands-off approach.
Well, hold on, Rico. I bet you what it was. I bet you what it was is she's pressing Facebook and everybody and all these social media giants. Maybe this shop was advertising on Facebook, and that's why they got pressed.
Maybe.
No, I think it was because they didn't pay their taxes. And had they paid the man, no one would care about the kids, and no one would care about nothing else.
Nobody.
And the trap will live on.
Always. There's going to be another smoke shop that opens up.
It took a year investigation because they wanted to calculate how much money they owe to the government. It don't take a year investigation to see someone selling drugs to kids, or not drugs, herbs to children.
Do you ever
take a year-long investigation to do that?
Do you ever run across any stories like this out in Minnesota, Rachelle?
Yes and no. There were a number of stories about like illegally non-compliant gummies ending up in the hands of teenagers. There was a big story about some kids down in Iowa who got literally they were called Death by Gummy Bears was the name of the brand. And I think they were like 100 milligrams or 250 or 1,000 milligrams, something like that. And I actually saw them for sale in a gas station in Wisconsin months later after this big bust.
Wow. Killer bees, huh? Killer bees.
Shout out to Liquid Death.
Were you gonna say something, Stone?
Real talk, though.
Oh, okay. All right. Looked like you were gonna say something. All right, Rico. Looks like it's time to go.
Crazy shit going on in New York, as in the rest of the industry, and just hope they get their shit together. That's all we can really say about them. But thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High at 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our live audience members and online supporters tuning in and giving us feedback on the daily headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. To our tenured industry correspondent team tuning in from all over, giving us your expert opinions and your takes on the stories as well from your respective regions. But also, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason that we show up to read these stories every single day. To our production team, Cloud Media Partners, Adam and Demetrius behind the scenes doing their damn thing. And I think Demetrius is feathering the shit out of Adam's hair. And I don't know, Adam, we brushing the
Stop the cow.
Whoa, pause. Pause.
I don't know. I don't know.
Pause.
How dare you?
Yeah, that was appropriate, Adam.
It has been Thursday, March 7th, 2024. You've just been given the top industry headlines. Hope it's enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News, cannabis industry's #1 daily news show. And today we're going to give it right back to Stone Slade. Stone Slade, you got some good messaging for these people?
Oh, my people. Every challenge you face is a seed of opportunity. It's up to you to mature that blossom into wisdom.
That's it.